Today I'm here with Mark Tobin from Mark Tobin Kitchen Design. I found him when I was looking for ideas for my new kitchen, which I absolutely hate. I know everybody says, oh, you're just complaining. Well, guys, I cook a lot, especially with cooking videos. And believe it or not, in my new kitchen, I really don't have any counter space to cook. I mean, it seems weird because my kitchen is 3 times the size of my old one, and yet I don't have anywhere to cook. And so I have to figure out something for my new kitchen. And I found Mark by watching some of his YouTube videos. They were just absolutely brilliant. And I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm going to see if he could help me. And you have sent me, I don't know, probably what, 30, 40 different, probably 30 renditions of my kitchen to kind of help me get it planned out. So we're going to go through my kitchen. You guys can go watch the video of why I hate my new kitchen, but we're going to go through how to fix it. Now, my first question is, can this whole thing be done in stages? So like, if I figure out what I want to do, can I just do the bar now and then do the rest later? Or is this something where I have to do the whole thing at once?
All right. So if you're going to do it in stages, the island bar area is the best place to start because it can be done on its own, unless you're going to be changing too much, like putting your range in there or doing something else. But if you're going to leave the sink and the dishwasher in that island, you can easily change that, especially if you plan on changing the color of the kitchen anyway. If you're going to do a different color there, that can be easily done. That would be your first step if you're going to do it in stages. After that, the section under your window where that littler sink is, that could be done as a stage. And then you could probably do the L shape as a separate piece. The only caution is when you're doing these things in stages, then you have to make sure that you can get the color match for the cabinets correct. And even though you order the same color from the manufacturer, it doesn't mean that that lot of color is going to be the same from job to job to job. So you have to be a little bit cautious on how you're doing that. Now, if you're going,
I never would have thought about that. That's
yeah.
a really good point.
Now,
Yeah.
if you're going with IKEA or an RTA company that they produce a pretty standard product across the board, then that's a different story. You can buy an IKEA door today and buy one in 5 months, and they're going to match. But when you're getting custom cabinets that are painted, it's a little bit of a different story. It's not to say they're not going to match, but you do have to watch that. And if you leave it too long, especially if you go with a wood that's stained, which is becoming, very trendy again these days, that wood is going to age differently than new wood. So you're mixing new and old wood, and sometimes that can be a little bit of an issue.
What are the pros and cons of going with a company like IKEA versus a cabinet maker or Home Depot?
All right. If you go with IKEA, you're getting a good quality product that is limited in terms of what you're able to do design wise, because they're an RTA, brand, meaning that they come in flat pack boxes and there's only certain sizes and they're not customizable. Although if you're creative, you can work with their sizes to make something that's custom. You're going to save a lot of money doing it that way, and you're going to get a really great warranty out of IKEA. So I have lots of clients that purchase IKEA cabinets and high-end kitchens. Like, they're not high-end cost because they're going with IKEA, but they're very elaborate kitchens, porcelain countertops, porcelain slab backsplashes. I mean, the porcelain on one job was way more than the cabinetry themselves, and they're all IKEA cabinets. So you're going to save money overall in terms of what you're getting for your cabinets. Now, you're not going to be able to have the options that you would have if you went custom. So the color and the door style and the design capabilities, if you go with a custom manufacturer, somebody that can build you, if you need it a ½ inch bigger, then you can actually get that. That's where you're going to see the difference, but you're also going to see a big price difference in that. But
that's what I was going to say. What would be the difference? Let's take my kitchen, just to kind of know it a little bit. So I know it's just a general estimate. I mean, this could change by a few $1,000s. I totally get that. But what would be the price difference between an IKEA kitchen and, let's say, a custom cabinet builder versus Home Depot?
Yeah, if you're going with IKEA particularly, you're and against something that's custom for the, let's say the same general layout, you're probably going to save thousands of dollars on the cabinetry themselves.
Okay.
Now, how many thousands? I don't know how many thousands. I haven't. I could actually find out. I could price your kitchen both ways, but you'd save thousands of dollars by going with IKEA. Now, the benefit too is that there's a lot of companies out there that make doors and cover panels for IKEA specifically. And so in order to get you more of a custom look, so while you can't get the size that you want maybe, but if you do have an IKEA kitchen and you want a particular door style that IKEA doesn't offer, you can get it through other companies. Semi-Handmade is one of them that's out there. And they will provide you with, you know, that custom look that you might be looking for. But you're going to save thousands of dollars.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, because I mean, honestly, I've never done anything like this before, and I'm a tightwad. And so for me, the concept of spending $20,000 on a kitchen just isn't even something I've ever even had on my radar. I just wouldn't do it because to me, it's not worth it. But now we have the money. The kitchen is completely unfunctional, and I've got to do something with it. And we knew that going into buying the house. So let's talk about some of the designs.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Your kitchen, you could easily do with IKEA.
Really?
So there's nothing layout wise that you couldn't handle with IKEA in your kitchen. And obviously, you know, I don't get anything from IKEA for this, but also they have so many accessories and, you know, functional things that you can, you know, incorporate into your kitchen that are built right into their units. That's another good reason to go with them. So
do they only, I've been to IKEA like twice when we lived in Colorado. So I'm not real familiar with them, but when I was there, I do know that there was a few things where I was like, oh, well, that's pretty cool. I would have never thought of doing dishes in a drawer, you know, or something like that. But do they only come in the white color, or does IKEA have different colors? Or
so the way IKEA works in the US, they have one cabinet box. It's a white cabinet box, and then you buy all the door styles. They have black and gray and blue and green and white and whatever. And then for anything that's exposed, they put a panel on it. So it's basically a door panel that goes on the side. So when it's all said and done, it looks like a complete finished kitchen. And there's just one box that you buy, and you know, you go from there, and they all have different sizes.
Okay, because honestly, I hadn't even had on the radar doing IKEA, but Denver's only 5 hours away from us. So, you know, we go down there easily and look. As a matter of fact, we're going next week. So I might take an extra day and run down there, because I hadn't even had IKEA on the radar.
Yeah, it'd be worth looking at, especially price-wise.
Okay. Well, that might be.
And you're getting a good product. You really are.
Okay. All right. That's kind of what I was wondering. So is there anything else with IKEA that you need to be worried about or think about or cautious about? Or, I mean, just as far as, you know, like, because they're Swedish. So do all their cabinets fit American kitchens? Yeah,
they are Swedish, but they're making cabinets for North America.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, that's
you wouldn't have any concern with that. Like if you're putting in a range or a cooktop or a wall oven or you name it, like you'd be able to make that work. I've done quite a few IKEA kitchens in the last little while. And
do you happen to know how easy is it? Like, we live 5 hours away, so I can't just run to the store. How easy would it be if I ordered cabinets in? Like if there's a problem or that kind of thing?
Yeah. So like that's the biggest issue right now because of what's happening in the world is supply for IKEA is not the greatest right now as well. It's getting better, and some locations are better than others. So you have to just make sure ahead of time that that store has what you need and they're not back ordered for 5 months, because that can happen. I've not clients, but I've had people on some of our live streams that I do on the channel, and they've been waiting for doors and drawer fronts and cabinet parts for months. but it's just because they're, probably sitting on a boat, on a harbor somewhere,
Oh, I totally get that.
so we can all relate to that. However,
we're sitting on that same boat, probably.
yeah,
I should have said, just throw me some cabinets on my.
just toss them. So that's where we're all at right now. Under normal circumstances, which I don't even know when that'll ever happen, but under normal circumstances, you should be able to walk into that store and get what you need right there off the shelf. So
now, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to turn this into an IKEA video, but
No
honestly,
problem.
the thought had never even crossed my mind to even look at IKEA. Now, is this
Yeah.
something that if I got all the parts that we could do it ourselves, or do I need to hire someone to do that?
How handy is Mike?
Well, he's pretty handy, but he's like, I'm tired of doing this stuff. We're hiring someone.
Okay, so there, I'm totally behind him on that. I would hire somebody. Now, you want to hire someone, obviously, who knows what they're doing, and maybe who's done IKEA cabinets before, because they're a little different in terms of how they hang on the wall and the assembly of them. But otherwise, I would hire a professional installer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I recommend.
To have you say that.
I got his back.
Somebody's backing me up, because I get these brilliant ideas and then we get in the middle of it and he's like, oh my goodness, this just.
Well, you're spending a lot of money for a kitchen. If you go to IKEA or you go some custom made whatever, it's still a lot of money. And it's like cabinets are particular. They need to be square and plumb and level, and they have to be done right. And if you're not if you're not sure about that, or if it's your first time doing a kitchen, you don't want to do your own, you want to practice on like your in-laws or something, I would always hire someone.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I didn't know how complicated they were. And when my mom finished, she bought a log cabin that she finished the inside. She got cabinets put together, and she did them herself.
Yeah.
But her entire kitchen was only like 10 feet long.
Yeah.
One wall with 10 feet. She only had like 10 or 12 cabinets. It wasn't very big at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't sure.
It's a toss-up. If you think you can handle it, then go for it. I always recommend having it installed, especially if you're going to save money on the cabinetry by where you're purchasing them from. Put that money towards having them installed, because if you drill a door wrong because you're putting handles on, you're kind of in a rush, or you're unsure. Now you have to go buy a new door front or drawer front. But if they do it, it's on them. Like, it's not costing you any. I always think those mistakes. Yeah, they pay for that. So when you're doing it all yourself, you mess up, that's on you. When you're paying someone else to do it, that's on them. And rightfully so.
So if you hire a contractor and they mess it up that way, they have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's their mistake. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know, because I wouldn't have, I probably would have been naive enough that I would have said, oh, okay, well, I guess, I got to buy another cabinet, because I just done that before. So
no, if they mess it up, it's on them. That should be pretty much stated, somewhere, and it should be understood. And if you're unsure about that, make sure you get that verbally or in a contract form, saying, we completely messed this thing up, or it's not like a tailgate warranty here where we, see you later. They have to be accountable for that.
Contract then.
Pardon me?
What should you have in a contract then?
It should just be a basic contract they would probably provide to you. So they're going to give you a contract saying, here's what's expected, here's what we're going to do. But make sure that in that, like, we're going to install a kitchen, or we're going to tear out the old kitchen, like whatever it is they're doing, the scope of the work. But also that if there's anything that's damaged, like who's responsible for that. And, that should be covered in that contract. I mean, it's nothing too elaborate, but just a scope of work of what's expected. And they would probably normally provide that to you, unless it's, some guy that that it's his cousin and he's coming over and he you heard about him. That might be a different story, and you're paying him cash kind of thing. But if you're getting a company to come in and do it, then they would definitely be liable.
Well, and then you're talking probably 3 to 4 times more to have a company versus Uncle Joe's cousin. But you know, if they mess it up and it
Right.
costs you that amount,
Yeah.
then in the end, you haven't really saved anything.
Yeah.
So,
And it depends. I mean, Uncle Joe's cousin could be the best guy for the job too. He could be amazing,
yeah.
but so you got to weigh those things out. And, you know, I mean, it depends. If you drill one door wrong, that's not that big a deal. But if you totally mess up on measurements or you break something else, like it could be costly, and having that covered by someone is a nice cushion, just a little bit of security for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mark, for those tips. Now we're going to actually get to my kitchen in the next video. Your tips are just so great and so helpful because I've never done this before. And
Yeah.
so total
I,
newbie at this.
I could talk kitchens all day. So
Oh, well, I'm so glad because it's been so helpful just getting, you know, basic information that honestly, I really had no idea. And guys, go check out in the description below Mark's YouTube channel, Mark Tobin Kitchen Design. He also has a design service. Go check out his website. Those are both in the description below, guys. I love his online design service. If you guys want to see why I hate my new kitchen, go check out our video in the description below. We will see you guys next time. Visit us at livingonadime.com.